Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready to get going. Reverend Father, which is, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Borris-Ileigh GA Club, I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening for the launch of Jimmy Finn, Hurling Legend by Martin Bourke. We would like to have this for the Water Clubhouse with all our patrons and everybody that contributed, but unfortunately, and for the safety of everybody, we had to curtail a little bit. So for everybody who's watching online, you're welcome, as is everybody here. A special mention to everybody that contributes tonight. On my left we have Jimmy Finn, the man that it's all about, Martin Bourke, the Orchard Plug, Brendan Maher is doing the launch, and John Costigan on behalf of the County Board. So, listen, as a club, Borris-Ileigh, me personally, and I'm sure every club member and anyone that's involved in Borris-Ileigh is extremely proud, not only for the quantity of hurlers that we produce, but the quality. No more so than I am here in my life to Jimmy Finn. I suppose my two girls were asking me this evening where I was going, and I told them there's a book launch for Jimmy Finn, famous Borris-Ileigh and Tipperary hurler. Explained to them that he was on the team of the century. So they said, what does that mean, Dad? And I said, if you two girls are good enough to make the Borris-Ileigh Camogie senior team, it's a fantastic achievement. To make a Tipperary team, it's an unbelievable achievement. But to be named at number 5 over 100 years is mind-boggling, and an absolutely fantastic achievement. So Jimmy, well done. We'll go through, I think the order of the night is John is going to say a few words on behalf of the County Board, Martin will speak, then Brendan and Jimmy. We put a video together, RT were kind enough to give me a couple of clips of the 50 and 51 All Ireland, and it's absolutely fantastic. So we'll show that at the end. Just a few thank yous. Martin came to me there not so long ago and told me what he was doing, and Martin, congratulations on an absolutely fantastic publication. I had a look through it, a quick look through it, couldn't read it all. 340 pages of fantastic memories and fantastic photos, which I think make the book. So well done, Martin, and congratulations. We're going to start off the evening, and Miriam and Michelle are going to sing Around Lee. So thank you very much and enjoy the night. Fantastic. So I hand you over to John or Tim. Tim, you want to come up? We're going to sub into you there. You're on.
Sorry about that, lads. Look, lads, I'm very proud to be here on such a prestigious occasion. We're honouring Jimmy. Unfortunately, I didn't see Jimmy hurling. I think I was the him up in boots. I think I was just about born at the same time. So, but I think it was fantastic to see a man 18 years of age making a Tipperary senior team in that year, back in was 1948 and 49. And it's a fantastic achievement, and for him to go up the steps in Croke Park and collect an All-Ireland Cup, the youngest captain ever, it was a massive achievement. Just going through the book before I came down, you see Jimmy, he mixed with some very illustrious company down the years with people like Mary and Martin McAleese, people like, I suppose, Micheál Murray-Urtig, Jimmy McGee, people like that back along the years, and some great photographs in the book. And I found it interesting to see one evening of him with Danny Healy-Rae. That would have been an interesting occasion, Jim. But there's another book. I saw Jimmy McGee. We talked about Jimmy stepping down and hanging up his boots, but he actually topped out in 92, when Jimmy McGee All-Stars kept the Borris-Ileigh. And he was tugged out in a photograph in it with such illustrious people as Pat Fox and Bobby and Aidan and Joe Hayes and people like that. He was in the same photograph. And even found Georgie Bourke, I think, and Mickey Patterson were all on the team with him. And it was interesting even to see Michael Lowry and Michael Smith on the same team, which had been unusual, I think. But that was one of those special occasions, I suppose, Jimmy. Anyway, look, we're very proud, Jimmy. One of the things in John Costigan's piece about the horses and the dogs, I noted where Jimmy bought his first dog, I think, when he was 10 years of age, and who did he buy it from? Only a dog from Martin Bourke's father, John. And it's interesting today we're hearing Martin Bourke ended up writing the life story of Jimmy Finn. And so Martin has a great illustrious career himself as a hurler and even a footballer. I was on the pitch one day with him up in I think it was 93 county intermediate football final, but I didn't see much of him playing football because he was sent off after 5 minutes. Himself and Connie McGrath, the boxed the heads off each other. But anyway, Martin was a great old character. We hung together on Tip Masters teams about 20-25 years ago. So it is only right that Martin's fitting that Martin will be writing this book. So well done, Martin. And finally to Jimmy. I'm proud to be here. Jimmy is a great friend of yours all down since even before I became county secretary. And to have a book written about your life is a very special thing, you know, and you're a very special person in everyone's life. So all I can say is on behalf of the Tipperary County Board, to wish you health and happiness for the remainder of your life. So thanks very much, Jimmy, and good evening to all of you.
Thanks, Tim, for that wonderful 2 words. Martin is going to say a few words now.
One night, approximately 2.5 years ago, on leaving Rathmai, after having 5 or 6 meetings with the great Jimmy Finn, I decided that his story had to be recorded. My aim was to have the biography published at the latest to coincide with his 90th birthday on November the 16th, 2021. To record his GA story, I foresaw no difficulty, having had plenty of experience in my 5 previous books in GA. But there were other aspects of his life that I found more challenging. The greyhounds and the horses were an integral part of his life, and knowing absolutely nothing about these 4-legged animals, I enlisted John Costigan to record this aspect of his life. I also thank John for his help with other aspects of the production. I also want to acknowledge the help received in writing articles from Jim Fogarty, P.M. O'Sullivan, Donald O'Grady, Richard Stapleton, Joe Connolly, Mick Minogue, Timmy Delaney, Wilmer Tyne, John Connors, and Seamus King. I also acknowledge articles written by well-known journalists who had penned articles on Finn and who gave me the authority to reproduce them. Cool Bora, John O'Grady, Stephen Gleeson, Michael Dundon, Jerry Slevin, Roger Ryan, Val Dorgan, Brendan Fulham, John D. Hickey, and Raylan Smith. From day one, even though I was doing the research and putting the material together, I always regarded that what I was doing was the Borris-Ileigh GA project. The book launch was going to be nowhere else but Borris-Ileigh, and I had from an early stage secured the services of Brendan Maher, a man who needs no introduction to Borris-Ileigh and Tipperary Hurling before the launch. I want to thank the officers of the club, mainly Chairman Mark Stapleton and PRO Philip Kittak, for their help with the launch, patrons and sponsorship. My family has huge connections with Borris-Ileigh and our roots are firmly here. And I have always and will always regard Borris-Ileigh as my second parish. My father was the second young of a family of 13, born to John and Julia Bourke, Knockkelly, Borris-Ileigh. My grandmother on my mother's side was into Lane, and she was the eldest of a family of 11, born to Paddy and Bridget O'Shea, Captain of Borris-Ileigh. My grandfather and Phil Maher Culhill's grandmother were brother and sister. The current Johnny Maher and Phil Maher are poor cousins of mine, and Brendan, who in a few moments will launch the book The Next Generation. Finally, Paddy Fitzpatrick, who was an integral part of our family in Dromara and for over 30 years was a native of Ballydaff, Borris-Ileigh. Thus this project was for me a labour of love. Jamie had an illustrious hurling career which commenced in 1948 playing minor hurling in Tipperary and which came to a premature end in 1959 after he sustained an eye injury, playing with his club against Borris-Ileigh in the North Tipperary Championship. In 1950 he made his inter-county championship debut against Kilkenny in the All-Ireland final, having only played 15 minutes of National Hurling League that year, coming on as a sub for the at Stapleton in Tipperary's final triumph over Kilkenny. On that day he was beaten against the great Jimmy Langton, who made his senior championship debut with Kilkenny in 1938 and was to play continuously in the black and amber for the next 15 years. He played in 14 successive Railway Cup games from 1940 to 53, winning just one in 1941. He won 2 All-Ireland minor titles in 35 and 36, and played in 6 All-Ireland senior finals, winning 2 in 39 and 47. With his club here in Kilkenny City, he won 4 Tipperary or Kilkenny senior championships in 39, 44, 45 and 47. Aged 32 for the 1950 championship, he was still at the height of his power, and as it was quite common for players of that period to play in their mid to late 30s. Langton's impressive CV did not deter the young 18-year-old Finn, who had won an All-Ireland minor hurling title in 1949 playing at centre back, and a first Midland County Championship with Borris-Ileigh, also in 49. Jimmy gained a lot of experience in that championship, and the 2 draws and replays against Borris-Ileigh and Hurley Cross in the mid-championship gave him the steel required to survive in the inter-county game at that time. During this time, the Torres CBS 8 team's fundraising tournament for 20 suitlings of the finest Blarney Tweed were ferociously contested and attracted huge crowds, with all games played at a very high standard. In the 1949 tournament, Borris-Ileigh defeated Mine, and in the semi-final they had a 1-point victory over Holy Cross, the 1948 county champions. The final on May the 14th was refereed by Conmore Fifth Cork, a future GA president, and attracted a huge attendance of 8,578. After a great game, Borris defeated by Borland by 4 points, and the Tipperary Star reporter had this to say: Borris-Ileigh's success that day was generally a team performance, but the Jimmy Finn, who filled the centre-back position, must go much credit. He was here, there and everywhere, and hurled well, diverting the Borland raids. In his book on John Doyle, the author John Harrington gives this account of the All-Ireland final, September the 3rd of 1950. Kilkenny had been targeting the 2 youngsters in the Tipperary defence all match, Doyle and Jimmy Finn, but with little joy. Doyle was hurling his greatest match yet in the blue and gold, and 18-year-old rookie wing-back Jimmy Finn was also announcing himself as something special too. His neatly coiffed hair and unassuming expression gave the Borris-Ileigh youth the look of a choir boy, but he didn't hurl like one. He wasn't son of the soil like Doyle, and allied with this natural farmer strength was a crisp, close style of hurling that saw him do everything with the perfect economy of movement. Finn was clearly blessed with considerable mental strength too, because he didn't blink at the prospect of making his debut in the All-Ireland final. Not only was he making his championship debut on the biggest stage of all, he also had the task of marking Jim Langton, who was the embodiment of all that was good about the Kenny Hurling. A snake hit stylist who could score points from all sorts of angles. Langton was at the peak of his powers in 1950, and in the opening exchange, it looked like Finn was struggling to cope with him as the Kilkenny half forward clipped over 2 early points. The individual battle would be a microcosm of the game itself, though, because as the game progressed, Finn's confidence and dominance grew, and so did Tipperary's. They were lucky to only trail by 7 points to 5 after a dour first 30 minutes, but slowly took a stranglehold on the match in the second half as their defence squeezed the life out of the Kilkenny attack. Finn was winning everything that came between him and Langton now, and drawing great gasps from the crowd with the murderous ground strokes that would become his trademark. His perfect timing and length of delivery had been honed by years of practice, hitting droppers with his uncle when the player would walk the fields herding cattle. A dropper was the art of dropping a sticker to the ground and then meeting it on the pole a microsecond after it bounced. If you timed it perfectly, you could hit the ball an almighty distance, and with constant practice, Finn eventually developed a hurling stroke of prodigious timing and power. The defence might have been hurling their men to a standstill, but with Jimmy Kennedy uncharacteristically subdued, the Tipperary forward line was struggling to make much headway at the other end of the field. With time almost up, they finally landed the first really telling blow of the match when Paddy Kenny wriggled free from the formidable attentions of the Kilkenny fullback Pat Diamond Hill and scored a rascal of a goal. Tipperary fans were still on their feet, celebrating it, when Kilkenny's Jimmy Kelly delivered a 70-yard drive that went straight to the net after Tony Redden was barged over the line by Kilkenny full forward Jack Mulcahy. Despite the obvious foul, the green flag was written, and Kilkenny had chosen close to within a point again, 1-9 to 1-8. For God's sake, Con, Redden was taken out of it before the ball came near him, roared Pat Stapleton and referee Con Murphy. I know, Pat, but I'm blowing the final whistle now, so don't worry, replied Murphy sidelinely. The Cork man was as good as his word, and while Redden's pop out was big flight, big shrills, blasts, crowned Tipperary as All-Ireland champions for the second year in a row. In welcoming back the Tipperary team after their All-Ireland victory, on the steps of the cathedral, the late Most Reverend Dr. Shanahan, Archbishop of Cashel and Endy, stated, I would like to pay special tribute to the current champion team of the county, Borris-Ileigh. All of us who are interested in Tipperary hurling like to see new teams coming to the front. But for me personally, it was a particular pleasure to find Borris-Ileigh, a parish with which I was intimately associated in my Bible days, taking its place in the rank of great hurling parishes, such as Thurles, Bourke, McCarthy, Tullivara and Holy Cross. I congratulate particularly 2 babies of the team, Jimmy Finn and John Dyle, on the game which they played last Sunday. Some of you are smiling at my referring to these 2 hefty boys as babies. Well, as hurlers go, they are still in the baby stage, but although they have not reached the age at which manhood is supposed to begin, on Sunday they played a real man's game. Certainly during the second half, when they were directly under my nose, they both decisively beat their opponent opposite numbers. The skill and courage of these 2 boys are a splendid augury for the future of Tipperary hurling. In his wide-ranging address on the Monday night after the 1951 All-Ireland final victory over Wexford, Dr. Shanahan paid the following tribute to the Borris-Ileigh club. When addressing you last year, continued his grace, I deemed it appropriate to congratulate especially the current champions Borris-Ileigh. This year Borris-Ileigh are again the current champions, and once more I offer them my felicitations. Being champions for 2 successive years in which Tipperary have won All-Ireland finals raised Borris-Ileigh to a high rank among the great hurling parishes of this county. When we remember that last year's captain Sean Kenny was the man principally responsible for staving off defeat in last year's final, we all regret very much that he was unable, through injury, to take his place in Sunday's game. We hope this injury will soon respond to treatment, and that next year, once more, he will don Tipperary's blue and gold. In the absence of Sean Kenny, Borris-Ileigh has supplied a very worthy substitute in Jimmy Finn. Although he was the youngest member of the team, he has proved himself fully equal to his great responsibility and acquitted himself with great distinction. He must be one of the youngest captains who ever led a hurling team to victory in an All-Ireland final, with the possible exception of Mikey Maher of Torredora's hurling fame. Tipperary, he thought, never had one so young. This was a great honour for the young Borris-Ileigh boy. Playing tribute to Paddy Kenny, he said his feats were well known to all Tipperary followers and were in fact a household word for Gaelic. When things looked gloomy on Sunday for Tipperary, he was the sun that lighted the darkness, and in 6 points restored the confidence to all Tipperary onlookers. As to the brothers Ned and Tim Ryan, were born almost next door to my own paternal home. I take special pleasure and delight in their courage, determination and skillful hurling in last Sunday's match, continued his race. It is kind of them to be good, not only as hurlers, but in every other department of life. The reporter of the game in which Tipperary were beaten by Cork in 1953 Munster final, 3-10 to 1-11 stated, Finn, absent against Wexford, signalled his return with a grand display at centre back, in which position he gave little scope to strong, resolute Josie Hartnett. He more than held his own and was generally the most distinguished upholder of Tipperary's prestige. In the 1956 National Hurling League final, Tipperary were 15 points ahead of Wexford, 2-10 to a point at the interval. But in the second half, Wexford scored 5-8 against the backline that was rated one of the best in Ireland, to win by 5-9 to 2-14. Hero of Wexford's magnificent second half rally was full forward Nicky Rackard. If Rackard was Wexford's hero, Jimmy Finn was Tipperary's star. He had the unenviable task of marking Wexford star Tim Flood, but so well he did it that at the end of the hour, Flood had failed to place his name among the scorers. In that glorious first half, and Tipperary swept all before them, Finn, Pat Stapleton and Tony Wall formed a formidable half-back line, and very seldom did a ball pass the losers to the 1 yard. In 1957, Tipperary defeated the Kenny in the National Hurling League final by 3-11 to 2-7. And the report of the game stated that the shining lights of the defence were the two wing-backs, Jimmy Finn and Tony Wall. Jimmy Finn excelled at right half and must be acclaimed the man of the match. In the ebb and flow of battle, in those moments of crisis when it seemed that the Kenny might break through for a decisive goal, Finn showed the true qualities of his greatness, and one remembers in particular one clearance of his in the last quarter when he brought the ball to safety, beating man after man and controlling the ball on the ground in masterly fashion. If there were any doubts on the point before the game, Finn can now be regarded without any reservations as the best right half back in the game. In the 1957 Munster semi-final, Tipperary lost to Cork 5-2 to 1-11, and the report of that game stated that the half-back line had the Cork half-forward line subdued in the first half, and reflecting on the supremacy of the Tipperary half-backs and midfield during this period, one has all the more reason to bemoan the ineffectiveness of the forwards. Jimmy Finn is today one of Tipperary's most consistent hurlers, and he again distinguished himself at right half back on Sunday. Late in the day, he moved to wing forward in an effort to pull the game out of the fire, and his determined efforts nearly earned Tipperary a replay. On the eve of the first round of the 1958 Munster Championship, Jimmy Finn and his friend Mick O'Dea from Templemore were breaking in one of Jimmy's horses in Rathmine when the horse bolted and Jimmy sustained a serious ankle injury, with less than 24 hours to go to the big game. Major remedial work was carried out in an effort to have him ready for the game, and that Saturday evening it looked very doubtful. In the morning he tried to persuade his good friend John Dial to switch on to the speedy Vivian Cobb, but Dial's response was firm and to no avail. Finn went on to play a great game, won the Tipperary one easily. The Tipperary Star reporter under the heading, Finn, one of the greatest, had this to say on him. To single out any one of the backs for special mention is not easy, but the others will not cavil, we know, if we first paid tribute to Jimmy Finn. Some time ago it was rumoured that he was toying with the idea of retiring. He was prepared upon, however, to go into training for this match. He had hardly more than 3 full evenings training, and there was some doubt whether he would be able to hold the speedy Vivian Cup. Finn showed on Sunday that he is one of the greatest defenders ever to don the blue and gold. Cobb was hardly in the game at all, so complete was the mastery Finn had over him. The outstanding feature of Finn's defensive play has always been the closeness of his hurling, and this was never more in evidence than on Sunday. In the Munster semi-final, the Star reported under the heading, "Finn as sound as ever," and this to say, Jimmy Finn has never failed his county. He has set such a high standard for himself that a good display by him would be regarded as great if given by another defender. The Borris-Ileigh man was as sound as ever on Sunday, and not alone did he hold his opponent's scorers, but all his clearances were effected in masterly fashion. All forwards come alike to Finn. He can hold the best of them, and the same can be said of Cork's great defender Jimmy Bourke. During Jimmy's short hurling career, he won an All-Ireland minor hurling medal in 49, 3 All-Ireland senior medals in 50, 51 and 58, and captained the team to victory in 1951 at the age of 19. He played for Munster on numerous occasions, winning 4 Lega Cup medals. Played 3 times for Ireland against the combined universities/Borris, and he also won 6 National Hurling Leagues and played in 2 more National Hurling League finals. He won 3 county senior hurling championships with his club, Borris-Ileigh, in 49, 50 and 53, and was awarded numerous awards at local, provincial and national level. His greatest being his selection on the team of the century in 1984, a fitting tribute to his ability as a top-class hurler. In early March this year, he received the belated Tipperary Association Dublin Hall of Fame Award for 2019. The Tipperary Studies Department of Tipperary County Library Tours was invaluable to my research, and librarians Mary Gannon Darby and Jane Bulfin were always most courteous and helpful. Most of the information regarding Jimmy's hurling career was gleaned from the files of the Tipperary Star and Nina Garger, whose generous contribution to the community life of Tipperary is immeasurable. All of the games that Jimmy played in from 1948 to 1960, both at club and county level, have been analysed in detail, with a report on each game from the Tipperary Star, Nina Garger, and sometimes a third from the columnist Wintergreen, who used to write on G affairs in the Tipperary Star. Jimmy, you have come through with first-class honours, the thorough scrutiny of your hurling career that I have undertaken. Your displays in the maroon and white of your beloved Borris-Ileigh, the blue and gold of Tipperary, the blue of Munster or the green of Ireland, were all of the top standard, with skill, strength, steel, consistency, hurling brilliance being the hallmarks of your displays. My thanks to all patrons and sponsors for the financial contributions that have ensured that this project has come to fruition. The production costs are substantial, but I am confident they will be met. And I can assure you all, if any surplus occurs once costs are paid, it will remain here in Borris-Ileigh to the benefit of some community or charitable group. A special word of thanks to Brendan O'Connor for his guidance and attention to detail in typing the material and in the design of this book. His professionalism and encouragement in bringing the publication to fruition was limitless. As a sincere thanks to Jimmy and the Finn family for giving me the opportunity to write this biography. Every time I called Jimmy, I was met with a warm handshake at the front door, and his pleasant and gentle demeanour at all times made me feel very much at home. I spent many hours in his company over the past 2.5 years, and these hours just seem like minutes. So knowledgeable and so willingly was he to discuss his memories. Jimmy left great memories with the people who saw him play, and with those who knew him personally. Others, born later, have heard about him from numerous articles written about him by professional and knowledgeable journalists, and by the many awards at provincial and national level that he has received. The most notable being the selection of right half back on the team of the century in 1984, and the GPA Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015. I hope this story, Jimmy Finn and Tipperary legend, will record for the younger generation in Borris-Ileigh, Tipperary and far beyond the exploits of a man who was a tremendous hurler, a thorough gentleman, was a perfect role model, and someone they might try to emulate. Tá an an leabhar seo chorah fúgóir, Tá súla bang go minic siad tanas agus torfa as, Bhíonn dá ré a gataí na cabhair glón leis an obair taiile, Nollaigh is bliain nua, Héan is fé bhaise tíomh go léir.
fantastic words. So next is Brendan. Brendan, I think, to launch the book. There, or we want more?
Thanks, Mark. I think this is it's a special occasion, I suppose, for a special man. We're very proud of our tradition here in Borris-Ileigh, and we're doing our best to uphold that and carry it on. But that legacy that we have, I suppose, is very much created and started off by this man all those years ago. Growing up, you know, you always heard Jimmy's name, you knew it before he picked up a Hurley. And he's somebody that we're very proud of, I suppose, and I'm absolutely honoured to launch the book on behalf of Borris-Ileigh Club. I'm lucky, I suppose, that I share the honour along with Bobby and Sean Kenny and Jimmy of lifting Lee McCarthy with Tipperary. And I've great memories, I suppose, from 2016, but one of them would be the chat that I had with Jimmy down on Tuesday morning, down in Rathmine, or Fishmile, I should say. But one of the memories I have actually is of the chat, but the struggle that I had to drink the big glass of whiskey that Jimmy put in front of me. So I won't forgive him for that one. But no, look, I mean, it's an absolute honour to launch this, and I want to congratulate Martin on all his hard work, and John and everyone involved. It's great to be able to have this recorded, and it's an absolute masterpiece that you produced, Martin, so fair play and well done. To the Finn family and everyone associated with Jimmy, I think you should all be very proud, obviously, but this is a special occasion, and I just wanted to mention all the family here are here tonight, and all of Jimmy's friends that are here as well. It's great to be able to do this. Obviously, Mark mentioned to Peter that we couldn't have a big Hurley down in the complex, but look, this is the way to do it. This is what we have to do, and it's just great to be able to be part of it. Jimmy, thanks again for everything you've done for our club here. You're a living legend, and it's an absolute honour to be in your company and to be part of this special occasion. Thanks again.
Thanks for the words. I think Jimmy going to say a couple of words?
Do you want to say something?
I'd like to welcome you all here. I'd like to welcome you all here today. So it's great to see such a crowd here. Martin Bourke went to town, all he had to say about me. So did Brendan. So he enjoyed everything here tonight. I want to thank all the Borris and the Borris Club for all the good times we had together over the years. Made Hurling, I suppose, at that stage in Tipperary, it was at a low edge, and it gave Borris a great lift in the county those years. I want to thank Brendan there for saying all the things he said, and that he's keeping the place, the Tipperary going, and doing everything. A beautiful hurler. Sorry he gave up the Tipperary team, but sure, life goes on. And keep Borris-Ileigh going. And I want to thank Martin Bourke for all the work he put in to getting this book together. Unbelievable the amount of work he has put in. And I have to thank John Costigan for organising everything over the years. All the funerals we went to all over Ireland. And say goodbye to good friends. So I hope you enjoy the evening now, and thank you very much.
Thank you. So we're just going to show a clip. Artie were kind enough to give me a Sunday game synopsis of the 50 and 51 All-Ireland. It was 27 minutes, but just like to thank Darragh there, he put it down to 6 or 7 minutes, and I hope you enjoyed it. Darragh, just like to mention, Darragh's filling in for a very special man in our club, Philip Becky. Philip was our PRO, and unfortunately he got COVID, and he's after fighting the battle. Thank God he's coming out the right side of it, so I'm not sure if he's watching about the Mater Hospital, but just a special shout out to Philip. Just before the video starts, just like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and thank all the patients. We'll endeavour to get all the books to all the patients over the coming week, and like to thank everybody that contributed. We're going to watch this clip, and we'll finish off, and the two girls are going to sing Sleep the One, and I hope that everybody will hang around for a cup of tea and a sandwich. So once again, thanks a million, Philip, when you're ready. Sorry, Darragh, when you're ready.
Sunday, September the 3rd, 1950. Croke Park thronged almost to capacity by 68,500 people from every nook and corner of Ireland, from Britain, aye, and America too. The occasion, the All-Ireland Hurling Finals, culminating points of a year's hard campaigning between Munster champions Tipperary and Leinster champions Kilkenny. The teams arrive on the field, Tipperary all out to retain their title. Kilkenny determined to regain Ireland's premier hurling honour. The parade. Yes, here they come, the men of Kilkenny in their blamber, the lads from Tipperary in their blue and gold. And as the teams parade, one enthusiastic supporter puts the crown on Tipperary's captain, Sean Kenny. So the tussle is on. Tipperary are favoured by a strong wind in the first half, but the first surprise comes when Kilkenny take up the offensive. Redden in the tip goal was quickly under pressure, and despite a typical clearance, Kilkenny had a point, to which Tipperary replied soon afterwards. These sides, who had served up a real thriller in the National League, are indeed closely matched. In fact, they have such a healthy respect for each other that loose, spectacular hurling is almost non-existent. And as they near half-time, Jim Kennedy snaps up one and makes the score. Kilkenny 7 points to his Tipperary's 5 points at the half-time stage. From the restart, a Kilkenny breakaway is repulsed, and soon the tip-forward brothers Kenny test goalman Ramey Dowling. Scores are close, and after 8 minutes of the second half, they are level. Downey's attack is repulsed by the Doyles, John and Tommy, before Jimmy Heffernan sends a Kilkenny wide. Tony Brennan and Seamus Finn combine to foil another attack. Finn beats Langton, and in a flash, Langton avenges the situation. Bannon may be down, but not out, as he cuts in an awkward one. Then, with time ticking away, sets the wheels moving, and Tipperary crash in the first goal of the game. 1 goal and 9 points to 8 points in favour of the Munster team. This was real excitement now. Kilkenny have replied with a Jimmy Kelly goal from the centre of the field. However, seconds later, the whistle has gone and Tipperary have retained their All-Ireland title by 1 goal and 9 points to 1 goal and 8. Moments later, a mighty roar greets the arrival of the Tipperary team, Seamus Finn, their captain, leading his men. Could these Tipperary stalwarts win their third successive title? Would this be their 16th victory in an All-Ireland hurling final? Wexford, led by Nick Rackard and his brothers Bobby and Willie. For them, it's a really big day, for not since 1910 has a hurling side from the model county won the title. The Artane band leading these 30 men, cream of the country's hurling talent. Wexford wearing the white collars and led by Nick Rackard, the boy from Callan. Tipperary by the young Borris-Ileigh man Seamus Finn, and a proud mascot who is not in the least daunted by the big occasion. Most Reverend Dr. Canaan, Archbishop of Cashel and Emly, and the Most Reverend Dr. Staunton, the Bishop of Ferns, are escorted onto the field and introduced to the captain. The throw-in and the cameramen scatter in all directions. Anti-post conception of the game by the experts was a victory for Tipperary, but they had to fight hard for it. Wexford hurling with great heart and verve set the Tipperary men worrying as they played ball for ball with them and at times out-hurled them. Wexford, undaunted, are soon ahead and worry their opponent's defence, but Tipperary take up the attack once more. In they come again, with Wexford's Tim Russell, Tusley Finn, the honours of the clash going to the Munster player. And soon, more scores have them level for the fourth time in the first half. The play is fast, hard hurling on the ground and in the air, keeping the crowds enthralled as play goes up and down the field. Then, just before half-time, Tipperary crash home another goal to put them in front at the interval, 3 goals and 6 points to Wexford's 2 goals and 6. On the restart, the pace is just as fast. Men like the Rackards and Wilkie Thorpe do great work for Wexford, though behind they still try hard. Nick Rackard and Russell try to burst the way through, but fail. Yes, the game is still in the balance, but the Tipperary men are forging their way to the top. McMahon gets the ball to Ned Ryan, who finishes to the net for another Tipperary goal. So, with the Tipperary 7 goals and 7 points, Wexford at 3 goals and 9 points, the Munster men have taken their 16th title. The delighted crowd surges onto the field to cheer the heroes of the day, while soon all eyes are on the Hogan stand, where trainer Phil Purcell congratulates Seamus Finn, the youngest man ever to captain the Premier County to All-Ireland victory. Bhíon an cluhé agus bhíhol the Tibradar an O'Hús go dere, an láv Oachtar Diles der Bourke Gurman, and der Oachtar an Common Lower Class Gael. And so with the president of the GAA presenting the cups of victory to the captains, the curtains close on another chapter in the honoured story of hurling.
Some fantastic memories and pictures there, so listen, lads, that's it from us tonight. I'd like to thank everybody that contributed, and obviously there's a cup of tea stuff there for everybody afterwards. We'll be getting it ready, and we're going to finish up. The girls are going to finish out with dinner national anthem. Okay, thanks very much, everyone.